But yeah, I was like, especially because I like the eyes. It's like Dream's eyes are really cool. He's like dark abysses with this light, and then one of them always sparkles, and yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, also it's easier to draw a painting in that style.
Yeah. You did good.
Thank you. Okay, do we do introductions?
Do we do introductions? Yes.
Let's go first.
Yes. Please,
I go
after you.
first.
Please, after you.
Hello and welcome to Tea and Toffees, a visual VTuber podcast where we ramble about all sorts of entertainment, media, like, well, films, TV show, books, and games. I'm Neitshayd, like the plant family of potatoes and ghost peppers, but actually not like that at all. My pronouns are, I don't care. Okay, right. I'm an undead demon that had the misfortune of getting stuck in the mortal world.
Okay, thank you very much for your introduction. Hi, I'm Cecilia. Well, I am not an undead demon. I was a witch in my previous life, but sadly, very, very sadly, I'm now stuck in this mortal human world without any witch powers. So,
Yeah. That is right.
Yeah.
So we decided to make a podcast where we ramble about our distractions, distracting us from our misfortune. And we named it after our favorite beverage, tea. And our fat cat.
But don't call her fat. She doesn't like that. Okay, what's our first episode about?
The Sandman by one of my favorite authors, Neil Gaiman.
Mr. Sandman.
Bring me a dream. Such a good song.
Okay. Let's start first. What is our history with the Sandman, with this medium? What's your history with it?
Well, I read the comics ages ago. Oh, well, I suppose. It was one of the first things I read when I got myself stuck here and got bored, so around a decade ago, I guess? Been a while. Don't even remember how I discovered them. And then the Netflix show came out and it was awesome.
Well, I never read the comics and I only watched the TV show. I watched it twice now. And why did I watch the TV show? Because you said that the comics were awesome and that the TV show from the trailer also looked nice and that we should definitely watch it. So we watched it and it was awesome.
I think I watched it 3 times now, actually.
3 times? I watched it 2 times.
Didn't we watch it 2 times together? Or was that something we wanted to do and never did? I don't remember.
Well, I don't remember either. Good on our memory there. We don't remember. Let's say we watched it at least once together, maybe twice, and I watched it once again without you.
I see. Okay. What do we talk about first? Let's start by talking about the characters first,
Yes, characters.
And obviously, if you start with the characters, protagonist. Is he even the protagonist?
I
I mean, he's the main character, but is he a protagonist?
I would say, yes, he's the main character, but he's just not your standard protagonist, I would say.
Yeah. Rather, I mean, like, in the TV show, at least, Rose Walker is the protagonist of Doll's House.
Yes,
But
that she is.
She's not the protagonist of the show. Not the main character.
No, that is Dream.
Yeah, we're obviously talking about Dream. The sad little emo meow meow. And he is literally a cat sometimes. And a plant. And other stuff. He can be whatever he wants. I mean, he's literally a dream. And he has lots and lots of names. Like Morpheus, Oneiros, Lord of Dreams, the Sandman, obviously.
I mean, the show is named after the Sandman.
Yeah, I like to call him the drama queen.
Yes.
He's super dramatic in the comics, even worse than the TV show because we get to see all his inner little monologues. Drama. He's drama personified. Even the way he dresses is dramatic.
And I mean, we do see a lot of different, like, how he dresses throughout the centuries doing the show. And I thought it quite interesting how he can dress so differently all the time. But yet, like, the vibe he gives, of course, and the way he dresses, it's the same. But he's also dressed very differently. So that's interesting. But I do like that we get to see how he dressed throughout the time.
Yeah, that's very well done on the, whichever department is, costume department, I suppose, in this case, the costume department.
Yes.
Also, whoever designed it, I don't remember how much they did that based on the comics, because the comics are in a different time period, obviously. I mean, they were released a long time ago. But yeah, the costumes are really good. And it's Dream. Dream has to look awesome and dramatic, you know.
Awesome and dramatic.
Yeah, Dream has exactly one friend. But drama ensues when that friend dares to call them friends. It's like drama.
Yes.
Also, the casting is great. Yeah, it's like, I can't remember. I don't know what the actors are called. No clue, but the characters all have great actors. The casting is amazing.
I mean, you say that as if I would remember what the actors are called.
Yeah.
I don't remember either.
Guess we're in the same boat then.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, dramatic, little emo meow. His social skills are terrible. He's emotionally stunted, and he does get better, but it's just very slow progress.
Yeah, I also get the impression very much at the beginning that he's just a moody teenager, but he is a moody teenager who grows up doing the show, doing all that he goes through while we see him. So, yeah, and I mean, when the first time we see him, he is pissed. But I mean, I would also be pissed if someone trapped me for 100 years in a cage. That is very understandable on his part.
Fair enough. Although, I mean, he could have just asked his siblings to help him during his imprisonment. He just never did.
I mean, especially at the beginnings, we see that he just never asks for help, like, period. Because he also doesn't ask for help when he goes to retrieve his belongings either. He's just moping and brooding all the time. And yes, I mean, he does accept Matthew at the end. But also at the beginning, he's reluctant to accept like a new companion, a new Raven after his first one or his recent one got killed. But he does accept Matthew, so we have that character development here. And he also accepts help from Matthew in the confrontation with Lucifer. I mean, if he was still the same at the beginning, maybe he wouldn't have accepted help, but maybe then again, it was maybe more important for him to win that face-off than it was important for him to just stick it all out by himself and not accepting any help. So maybe that face-off kind of also helped him to accept help, I guess. But
Yeah.
after he manages to retrieve all his belongings again, he has his 3 tools back. He's once again back to moping and brooding. So all the character development until this point, well, not gone, I would say, but he's back to his old self, I guess. But now he feels empty and down after his journey is over. But, I mean, he had this awesome adventure, I would say. Yes, it sucks to be stuck for 100 years and to have his belongings stolen, but at least he got an adventure out of it, and he could be all dramatic about it. But now, back to his old job, his old duties that he has done for centuries at this point. And I guess it just doesn't cut it anymore for him. But do you call that a midlife crisis? Because he's so old, obviously. Or do we call it a teenage crisis who just wants to try and find the point in life? Because he does come across to me as just like a moping, brooding teenager who wants to find his point in life again, I guess. And also, very important point when he's back to moping and brooding after he got all his things back. Do not feed pigeons with bread. Do not do that.
Yeah, someone should throw a bag of seeds at him and then take the bread and whack him over the head with it.
Yes.
But yeah, midlife crisis, identity crisis. I mean, it's all about change with him. Dream isn't a good person to begin with, not by human standards, at least. I, as the non-human in the room, I think Dream is perfectly fine the way we see him before the story begins and all the done in the past. And he does a lot of bad shit, but I'm like, that's perfectly fine. It's like, I don't care. But, I mean, I guess the humans wouldn't think that way. And, yeah, he's a bit overly dramatic, but, I mean, who cares about human morality in the Mahdi? And he does get to see the worst of humanity, or part of the worst of humanity, and then he escapes from his imprisonment, and he's weakened, and his realm lies in ruins, and it's a situation unlike any other he's ever been in, so I suppose it's understandable
Yeah.
to be dramatic and moody.
Dramatic.
I mean,
and
that's
moody.
his personality.
Yeah, and he's also very set in his ways, and like, yes, you need to follow responsibilities. I mean, he's done that for so long, so change is hard for him, I would say, We see that when he decides to disintegrate gold, because, well, he just is that way, I suppose. It's like, change is not allowed. This is our responsibilities, and you didn't do that, and now you need to be disintegrated because of it. And he also comes across as quite arrogant sometimes, because he doesn't accept, and he happens just like, yes, I know best. But then we also see the change, because then the whole situation with Rose Walker arises, and she is a vortex, and he just doesn't know how to deal with it at the beginning. So he goes to Lucien, our favorite librarian, and asks for help, but because he's Dream, he goes to ask for help without actually directly asking for help. But we can clearly see that he's asking for help. And so he changes slowly, but he's still very proud, so can't ask for help directly, because no, he's Dream, he can't ask for help directly. How would that look? But eventually he acknowledges that he was wrong and even makes God into a dream and tries to listen now and even trusts Lucien with the dreaming. So we do see quite a bit of change at the end.
Mm-hmm. I mean, those are some of the big changes that are very obvious. We also see some small changes. Right at the beginning, when we meet Rachel, the ex-girlfriend of Constantine. Constantine? Yeah. And I mean, he would have left Rachel to suffer if it was just him. But Constantine asked him to not do that, and then he helped. He gave her a peaceful death. So that is a small change, but it's there. Yes, and it's right at the beginning. In the comic, he actually brings John Dee back to the asylum he broke out of.
I mean, he does this in the TV show as well, and basically says, yeah, he is just a victim of the ruby.
Does he? I don't remember what happened to John in this. I thought he died or something.
I mean, if I remember correctly, he brings him back to the hospital and just lies him down there, and I guess makes him think that it was all a dream, because he is sleeping, obviously, our John. And then he has a conversation afterwards. I don't actually remember with whom he had this conversation. Maybe it was Matthew, who knows, because Matthew is always there. And it was like, yeah, it's not actually his fault, because the ruby is just not meant for humans. And John, at the end of the day, is a human.
Toffee is trying to get into my room. Oh, no.
Of course she is.
Oh, well. Yeah, either way. In the comics, he brings him back to the asylum. And he could have just tortured him like he did with Alex. Burgess. Gosh, names, pronunciation, help. And I mean, he also, that's something he definitely did in the comics and not the show. He gives the other inhabitants of the asylum peaceful dreams because one of them asked him to, and then he's just like, sure, why not?
Yeah, we don't see the other inhabitants of the hospital asylum thingy in the show. We just see John and some guards.
Yeah. And I mean, another obvious one, he saves Calliope from her captor.
Yes.
What? He didn't have to. And she says as well the same. She's like, you wouldn't have done that some years ago. And he's like, yeah, but I do now. So he grows and he changes and eventually comes to accept that, although that brings a whole lot of other issues with it. But that's spoiler territory for possible future seasons.
Yes. Thank you for not spoilering me.
Yeah, we see it when he recreates the Corinthian later in the comics. And in the TV show Gold, I mean, no, the Corinthian comes much later in the comics, but anyway. Gold does not exist in the comics, by the way. He saves Rose Walker from the serial dude Funland in the comics. The Corinthian did that in the TV show. Instead of leaving her to die, which would have solved his vortex problem, but nope. He asks for help, so he helps. And there's a lot more in the comics, and like I already mentioned, the arc seamlessly transitions into a different character arc for him that culminates in, spoiler!
More spoilers. Yeah. Also, I have a question. Because if the vortex replaces dream as like the center of the dreaming, we get told that then everything collapses and that it has happened before. So are there just collapsed universes somewhere around there? Do they just continue to exist in their collapsed state, or do they vanish at some point? Does they get new life? I don't know. What happens?
Actually, doesn't Dream tell us that? I think he tells us that. He tells Rose that he failed before. And I mean, there are multiple incarnations of Dream, which implies that he died before, which actually that is shown in the first few pages of Overture, so it's not even a spoiler, because like, if you ever get around to read Overture, if they adapt it, it's literally in the first few pages, there's planned Dream and he dies, and yeah. And we see Overture is kind of the prequel to the Sandman comics. And we see a lot of different incarnations of dreams, so that implies that he died a few times. So there should be a dream somewhere that got killed by a vortex somewhere out there. It's not that far off. Everything is possible, you know?
I mean, I was just thinking, like, okay, if the other universes collapsed, did they exist after each other or parallel to each other? Is there one dream? Are there multiple? But I guess there are multiple of them, and some of them died, and some of them yet live.
I mean, time is relative. Time also has a personification. I don't quite remember, but I think time was might be the mother of the Endless? Or was it the father? I don't remember, but time is also a being. Obviously more powerful than the Endless in this case, since it's their parent.
Apparently everything is a being.
Yeah, it's not that hard, you know. Something I really can't wait to see in possible future seasons are Dream's interactions with his siblings. Or, well, to see his siblings in general, like Delirium. And we saw a bit of Destiny already, but I want more of that.
We did?
And
I didn't even notice.
Oh, no, wait, not Destiny. We saw... Sorry.
Also Delirium. We didn't see Delirium yet. We saw...
No, I can't wait to see Delirium and Destiny. What I meant was that we saw a glimpse of desire and despair.
We saw desire
and death, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. And another thing from the comics that might come up in possible future seasons, something we saw a little bit in the show, in the extra episode, Dream's lovers. Because he has a few lovers over the billions of years he's existed. Nada, Calliope, and the others that we don't have met yet in the show. Dream's love life is kind of destined to be doomed.
Oh no.
I believe there was a rule or something about the endless immortals falling in love, never ending well. Yeah.
Poor Dream. Yeah, I also want to know more about the backstories of his past lovers, because we don't actually get to know in the TV show a lot about Nada and also Calliope. We just see them. We learn that they were past lovers, that Calliope and him were even like husband and wife, and that they also had a son who apparently died or something like that. But yeah, I also want to know more about that, because especially the interactions he have with Calliope left me wanting more. So maybe that will get covered in a future season. So Netflix, give us more.
Yeah, we want more. Calliope's story is, well, just as we see it in the extra episode, actually.
I mean, also I also have one other thing to say. Calliope at one point called our dear Morpheus the god of dreams, but we also learned in that episode that gods die. So while I was watching the episode, I was like, okay, did she just say that incorrectly? Because we know that the Endless don't die. We learned that in the show, but we learned that gods do die, and then she calls him the god of dreams. And I was like, does he die? But now that I know that there are different collapsed universes where Dream apparently died, I guess she wasn't that wrong after all, because apparently he can die.
I mean, for one, he's an Endless. But I already said, it's like, yeah, he can die.
Exists for all eternity.
And then you get a new incarnation that is still the old Dream, but also a new... It's complicated.
Like so much in life, it's complicated.
If Dream dies, then you get a new Dream who's still the old Dream, but he's a new Dream and not the old Dream died. It's complicated. It's complicated. And gods, I don't know, the Endless are not gods technically, but gods are. I mean, you get the Norse gods at some point, so there are, and you see Bast and some Egyptian. It's like there are gods, but there's also the god, like father of Lucifer. I don't know. It's
complicated.
Lots of different mythologies.
It's complicated.
But, yeah, back to what I was saying about Calliope. So, Calliope's story is basically what we see in the show. She gets imprisoned and all that. And the backstory of Calliope ties in with the story of Orpheus. And that one is what we would need for more context. Let me think. I think it comes right after Season of Mists, which is the arc that follows Doll's House. And Doll's House was the last arc we saw in the Season 1. And, well, Season of Mist starts a whole lot of new disasters that might or might not cover to get in future seasons. Either way, Orpheus' story in The Sandman is very much like the Greek tale of Orpheus and Eurydice. Pronunciations. Just the Dream in this case is his father. I believe in the original myth it was some kind of king or whatever, as it usually is, Greek myths, you know. And Nada does get more backstory in the comics, actually. and her story gets resolved as well, which is in Season of Mist. And yeah, it's another instance where we see Dream's character growth, actually. By the way, when Dream slept with Nada for the first time, everyone dreamed of her like, wow, Dream, way to go.
Oh.
Like everyone dream of having...
Okay, yes. Dream, was that necessary? I guess you thought it was kind of necessary, but I think that kind of wasn't. Yes, way to go, Dream.
I mean, it was like, yep, I'm sleeping with this woman, so I'm making it everyone's business that I'm sleeping with this woman.
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
Anyway, so Nada's background is actually the entirety of issue 9. The show covers issues 1 to 16, except for 9. But since the resolution comes later in Season of Mist, I suppose that they kept that to cover it in the next season to make it more coherent, I suppose. Also, Nada's story kind of goes hand in hand with Lucifer leaving hell.
That brings us to the next character, I guess. Lucifer,
Morningstar.
My image from Lucifer from when I went to watch the Sandman was basically from the TV show Lucifer, which can be also found on Netflix, at least in some countries. And we'll cover all that in a future episode. And seeing this Lucifer was at first kind of weird, because obviously in the TV show it's like male, obvious difference. And this time we see Lucifer like in a female appearance, so that was kind of weird. And Lucifer also seems to look down on Dream just because he got himself captured for like 100 years, which Lucifer, I do not appreciate. Do not look down on our darling Dream, even if he is a mooding and brooding teenager, you know? But also, I have also a good thing to say about Lucifer, because that was a really nice outfit in the face-off between Lucifer and Dream. Really nice outfit, I liked that. And what also made me curious about Lucifer, and especially like in how it fits with the TV show we got about Lucifer, because at the end, we see Lucifer planning something. It's like, okay, something they have never done before, and something that will make God livid and bring Morpheus to his knees. So I'm like, okay, in the TV show he goes on vacation on Earth and meets a certain detective. And that would fit very well with the first two. With like, okay, something he's never done before. And that would be leaving hell, obviously, for a long vacation. And it would also probably make God livid if Lucifer were just to leave hell and abandon their responsibilities they have there and watching over hell and stuff. But I fail to see how that would bring Morpheus to his knees by Lucifer leaving hell. It's like, how does that tie into that? I do not know. I want to know more. Netflix, give me more.
That was a lot. Where do I start? Oh, let's start with Angels Are Genderless. That's a point we'll talk about more in depth whenever we get around to Good Omens. Because Good Omens.
Also done by Neil Gaiman.
Yes! Also, and Terry Pratchett, my two favorite authors. Yes. Angels Are Genderless. That's in the Bible. That's Neil Gaiman makes a point of drawing that, or having them drawn like that and talking about that. But yeah, like I said, we'll get more into that in the Good Omens episode, whenever that will be. Maybe when season 2 comes out. Also, biblical angels look like eldritch horrors, and that's awesome. We love eldritch horrors, or I do.
Yes, of course you do.
Yeah, in regards to whatever her name was, she's awesome. I don't know actor names. I think the casting here is perfect. I love how different this Lucifer is compared to the Lucifer from the TV show of the same name. They're both based on the same character from the Sandman comics, getting tired of hell and all that. And my next point does actually answer your question. I mean, I already mentioned that, and you talked about it a bit. Comic Dream goes to hell once more in the comics in Season of Mist for reasons. And he expects a fight that he will lose because Lucifer is the son of God. So Lucifer, Dream admits that, is more powerful than Dream. Yeah, but then Dream goes there and he finds hell empty. And Lucifer quit. And then Lucifer gives Dream the key to hell. Yeah, the key of hell, sort of as a wrench. So Dream will have to deal with the fallout of Lucifer leaving hell. More on this on the Lucifer episode.
But yeah, lovely. You go down there expecting a fight because Lucifer did threaten you that they will fight you and bring you to your knees. And then you come there and it's just like empty and okay, not a fight, but you just leave a mess behind for me to deal with. I can see how that can bring someone to their knees when they have to clean up a mess that's just like.
Yeah, it's kind of spoilers for Sandman, but if you're interested, just wait for our Lucifer episode, which will be the next one after Sandman. So
I guess I will wait then.
Yeah, I will talk a bit more in depth there. There's stuff happens. It's really funny, actually. Yeah, Comic Lucifer got his own spin-off comic, simply called Lucifer, which is kind of different from the TV show. Also, more on that on the Lucifer episode. But yeah, he does run his own piano bar. Lux. Pronunciations. Luxray. No, that's a Pokemon.
That's indeed a Pokemon.
That's a Pokemon. Pokemon are awesome. Anyway,
Yes.
So yeah, and he explores the meaning of free will. All of the. I read part of it, but maybe I read more, probably not. Tidbit about the comic difference here: a Sandman comic versus Sandman TV show. The duel between Lucifer and Dream. It's we got this demon who stole the Dream, the helmet from Dream, something, whatever his name. In the comics, he actually fights for himself instead of asking Lucifer to represent him, and it has talk show vibes.
Talk show vibes.
Yeah, imagine a talk show in hell. You got these demons, and then you got Dream, and the demon dressed up in suits with microphones, and the duel is kind of the same as it was in the show, but just like a talk show between Dream and a pink demon with two mouths. It's
Okay, I will just accept that mental image and
yeah. It's a thing.
guess
it
that's
happens.
a thing. Yes, because why not? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. But the duel, which looked awesome, visually saying, by the way, if we were to face off in a duel like that, like, who do you think would win between us?
Me.
Yes.
Definitely me. Who else would win? It's me.
Yes.
Why did you even ask that? Me.
Yes, I know. I just thought I would ask anyways. Even though I know I would lose. But also, the demon who has the helmet. What exactly did the demon want with Dream's helmet? Because I'm like, okay, yes, what was his specific goal with that? I just don't know why. What did he want to do with that?
This might have been explained in the comic. I don't remember. But, I mean, that helmet is a powerful thing. So why would you not want that?
Because it looks ugly. That's why.
Yeah. I think I will explain that to you at a later point. But
Okay. And also,
yes, it does. It does look ugly. Yes, it does.
while we are down there in hell, the typical image of hell is fire. A lot of heat and a lot of fire. And now we see like, okay, hell is not just fire everywhere. It's very different. It is indeed cold. But I guess that's also something I just should have known, because Neitshayd is also a demon and she's never cold. Well, they are never cold. I don't know. Pronouns
I
are
mean,
different.
I'm not from hell though. I'm also kind of dead, so I suppose. But I don't like high temperatures. I guess they're not good if your body isn't alive anymore. Anyway, but yeah, hell is awesome. You should visit sometimes.
I have no idea about like demons and different kinds of demons and what is different with undead demons, and I just know demons, Neitshayd is never cold and hell is apparently also cold, so that fits together.
Well, I'm dead, so there's that. What would you expect from a dead person? Nothing. Nothing.
To rot away and be buried in a graveyard, or burned and then the ashes are buried. I don't know. That's what.
Why would you bury a demon? Why would you bury a demon?
I don't
Moving
know.
on. Moving on. Why don't we talk? Oh, Burgess. Pronunciations. You know, the family. The family.
We see at the very beginning.
Yeah, let's start with the old dude. What an oh my gosh. But also great acting and script writing to make him come across as such. It's like when we first meet him, we see him for the first time. We know nothing about him unless we read the comics. And we see how he treats his son, Alex. the way he talks about his greatest joy, Randall, and how everything was meant to be his, tells us a lot about him in just a few minutes. Interestingly, in the comics, his motivations are different because Alex is his only son. And he doesn't want Roderick back from the dead, he just wants to be immortal. That's just... Yeah. Also, the reason Burgess was able to imprison an Endless in the first place is actually explained in one of the comic extras, in the prequel that I mentioned, Overture, I believe. Yeah.
So the TV show is once again missing something that is explained in the comics. Oh,
I mean, maybe they will at some point. It's like Overture came out after the main Sandman comics.
So I guess maybe they will explain it if we ever get a season 2. But yeah.
Overture was kind of crazy, though. Like, woo. The people who read it will know what I mean.
I mean, I haven't read it, so I don't know what you mean. But maybe I will know in the future if we ever get a season 2 or if I ever decide to read the comics. Then I might know. And yeah, we meet Roderick, the owl, at the very beginning. He catches Dream instead of Death because originally, as we know, he wanted to capture Death to bring, at least in the TV show, to bring his dead son back. And I'm like, okay, why? But that's at least the first time we meet the Endless. And why do they all start with a D? Because we know he wanted to capture Death, but he catches Dream instead. And we also know that there is like desire and despair and destiny and destruction and delirium. Why do they all start with a D?
Oh, delight. It's a thing, with a capital T. It's a thing. So...
Okay, I guess it's a thing. Okay, but Dream gets captured and his belongings are taken away from him. His pouch of sand, his ruby, and his mask, his helmet thingy. And why exactly did they strip him before they took off the helmet? And that helmet is still ugly. Who decided that design?
Well, I mean, they obviously took his tools for money, power, immortality. Or getting the dead son back in the show. I guess it's like maybe some of the tools could do that. And even if that wasn't death they captured, they knew it was a being of immense power, and such a being wouldn't carry meaningless items. And Dream's tools are valuable. I suppose it wasn't necessary to strip him naked. Especially, I mean, okay, it's easier to take the clothes off than the helmet, right?
Yes, I guess.
But
because the helmet is very form-fitting. Does he sweat under there? Must be hot under there.
He's an Endless. He's an incorporeal being. He's a dream. He's literally a dream. It's in his name.
So I guess he's not sweating. Must be nice. Do you sweat as an undead demon? Because I'm human.
No, I don't sweat, but I still don't like the heat. I hate heat.
Cold all the way. Winter all the way. And snow.
Yes, please. Anyway, also stripping him naked is a very simple way to humiliate someone. It's, technically Dream is more powerful, but now he's in this confinement circle and they make him, they stripped him naked, and it shows that I'm the one in charge here and I'm the one making demands, and you might be an Endless, but here, come on, bring my dead son back or make me immortal or whatever. Also, to answer your last question, the one that you already asked before, sorry. The helmet was crafted from the skull and the spine of an ancient god, and it's also Dream's sigil, and every Endless has their own sigil, and it fits the traumatic flair of this particular Endless who's known for his traumatics. And I mean, if you have the remains of an ancient god that came before you, and you have this spine and this skull, of course you make an awesome traumatic helmet out of it. Why not?
I guess so. I still wouldn't wear it because still that helmet is ugly. I would only wear it if it is necessary because, as you say, it is apparently a sigil and very important and powerful and stuff, but ugly as shit.
I mean, he doesn't wear it that. He wears it to battle. Like, he goes into hell the second time with his helmet on, and Lucifer's like, take that stupid thing off. And Dream's like, and Lucifer's like, I won't harm you while in hell. Can you now take that stupid thing off?
I mean, when he is greeted at the gates of hell, because apparently you can't just walk into another person's domain. You have to, like...
I mean, that would be rude.
Yes, it would be incredibly rude, but it's Dream and he's a drama queen, so... I could also see him just walking in and making a lot of drama by not asking for entrance first. But yet the demon also asked him, like, yeah, where are your thingies? Like, show me that you are who you are. Show me your helmet. Show me your ruby. But sadly, at that point, he doesn't have them. Poor Dream.
Yes. There's more than the ruby. There's an emerald and stuff. I think it was 12 dreamstones. And I am like, why did he make them in the first place? But, who are we to understand the endless?
He's an endless. He has his reasons. Drama queens also always have strange reasons for doing stuff just to cause drama.
Okay, who else have we got? Well, in the same family, we've got Alex and Paul. Suppose Paul goes with Alex. Alex is a complicated character, or, well, he's just human, shaped by his environment. And actually, I wonder if Paul destroyed the magic circle on purpose or if it was accidental and he thought, might as well have it broken.
Might as well. Why not?
Yeah, I don't really have much on them because I personally don't care that much about them.
Yeah.
They were there, they did stuff, they got tortured. Oh, Alex did get tortured. It's like,
they were there. Poor Alex. He deserved better from his own father. But, yeah, it's just the way it went, I guess.
What could have been? But Ethel, what do you think about Ethel?
I think that she just did what she needed to do, or what she thought she needed to do in order to protect herself and her child. And she knows that she did wrong. She admits that to John in the end. But, well, she wants to give the ruby back. But still, that doesn't make the things she did okay, because we also see her, I guess, committing crimes. And she does know a lot of languages, props to her, I guess. But is still stealing kind of money from other people. That's not okay. But that she does regret it, at least at some ways, and she does want to give the ruby back. That redeems her somewhat, I guess. But at the end of the day, she's still a criminal, but she's also a mother who just wanted to protect her son, I guess.
Yeah. I don't get that, but I'm a demon, so whatever. Humans. Actually, Ethel didn't appear all that much in the comics. I mean, I think she left with someone from this magic order that he was in charge of, and then the Ethel sacrificed a cat to magic and murdered his. So Ethel disappeared.
Cat. Why would he sacrifice a cat? I'm angry at him for sacrificing a cat.
She took the second in command from the magic order, and they disappeared together. And they stole stuff. They stole the tools from Burgess, and then Burgess sacrificed a cat, the poor cat, to magically murder his favorite subordinate. But that didn't actually work because the second command had the amulet at that point. And then Ethel took the amulet and walked out on him. And then Burgess managed to kill him magically by sacrifice. It's
still poor cat.
Poor cat. But it's like. Okay, so we get Ethel leaves with the second in command dude and the tools. And the second in command dude gets the amulet. And Burgess sacrifices a cat very brutally. And then Ethel takes the amulet and walks out on the second in command. And then the second in command dies. Brutal death. It happens.
The amulet can kill people very brutally. But I guess also the absence of it can kill people in a very brutal way.
Yeah, I mean... He was protected as long as he had the amulet, but then Ethel took it, and then...
She wasn't protected anymore and died a violent death. Lovely.
Yeah, because Burgess was like, you betrayed me, I'm gonna kill you without actually doing it. I'm just gonna kill this animal. Poor animal. And then, I mean, we do see her when she goes to visit John D.
Yes. Her son,
John D.
John.
Remus as a villain is terrifying.
Okay. But I mean...
I actually wrote down the actor's name this time. Wow. Would you believe that? I'm just gonna, in the... Because I don't remember anyone else's name, I'm not gonna mention it. You can look it up, people. You can look it up.
Yes. If people are interested in who the actors are, they can look it up. Because...
They're all awesome. Everyone is awesome.
The internet. And the internet knows a lot of things. And yeah, I mean, he is a terrifying villain. But what did we expect, really? Because he had no father... his actual father actually wanted Ethel to that she would get rid of him while pregnant.
Abortion.
And as a mother, she also was not really the best. So I guess it was kind of expected how he turned out in the end.
I mean, yeah, and he got influenced by the ruby and stuff.
Yeah,
he's different from his comic counterpart. He's in the show, he's more human, more sympathetic, more complex. He's not just a dark villain, you know. In the comic, we meet John in Arkham Asylum. So those of us who are DC fans, anyone ring a bell? Harley, the Joker. I think Batman was actually the one who took the ruby from John.
Batman is also involved in this?
He appears, yes, in the background. He gets mentioned. Someone from the Justice League took the ruby. It's
Okay.
I mean, it's Sandman is a DC comic. It is part of the DC universe before it got rebooted.
I mean, I could get that, so I'm just gonna take this at face value and just accept that apparently Batman and the Joker are also somehow involved in this universe, because of course they are.
I mean, literally every episode ends with the DC symbol thingy logo. So
Yes, I guess, and I did watch all the endings, because the endings are awesome, but I also still forget.
the Joker, actually, I think the Joker gets name dropped at some point.
Right, in the show or in the comics?
In
Because
the comics, we'll talk about this later. They changed some stuff.
I think I would remember.
Yeah, the DC cameos or something that got, well, not sacrificed, but more on that later. Either way, yeah, Arkham Asylum. And yeah, that's where John Dee was in the comics, and where he got back to another thing. Comic John kills Rosemary. Poor Rosemary. He kills her. He also causes
Why?
nightmares and madness. Or he's a villain. He's a villain. He does that.
Yes, but
like-
Rosemary deserved better.
I know.
Because especially it's like, yeah, okay, she had to figure out that her husband had another wife and another kid somewhere else. So that was already hard. And now she meets, unfortunately, she just wants to help this random person and gets killed for it. That's sad.
I suppose. Humans. Well, it's John is a villain. John kills Rosemary. Just shows you how villainy he is. And I mean, we see him in the diner episode doing his diner stuff. In the comic, we also see what happens outside. Do we see that in the show? Don't remember. In the comics, he watches the news, and I mean,
Oh yes, we do see him watching the news, and we do get like snippets of what is happening outside. But that is easily like missed and goes under a bit with all the drama that is happening inside of the diner.
yeah, okay, yeah. In the comics, it's more obvious because we get the news as wall panels and stuff. Comic material. It's a comic.
Yes.
So what he does essentially is cause nightmares and madness all over the world while he's in the diner, waiting for the end of the world. And the whole diner scene is a bit more crazy and disjointed, and it feels like a dream, you know, like dreams tend to be. It's John just wants to wreak havoc and watch it all go down in flames. No reason at all. It's just what he is.
Also, do you think like the gas station guy that John and Rosemary meet while they drive in the car, would he have died if still died if gun laws were different in the US? Because he just pulls out a gun at John, and well, it's the US. Of course, he has a gun, but if he didn't have a gun, then would he still have died?
Yes, definitely. All he needed to do was attack John in one capacity or another. There was no gun needed. The moment he attacked John, it was over. And I mean, Comic John would have killed him regardless, even if he hadn't attacked him. Just Comic John would have killed him. So, why not?
I mean, I guess also from what we see of his character, he would have, I guess, yes, he would have attacked regardless, even without a gun. And so he would have died regardless, because amulet John has. No harm to John. And also, you said John wanted to see everything go down in flames. What are like the odds or the chances of John would have decided to just commit arson at the gas station? Because it's a gas station that would burn down very nicely, I would say. So I guess we got lucky that he didn't burn down the gas station. And yes, Toffee, darling, I see that you want my attention, but it's not yet time for dinner. I'm sorry, darling.
Oh, poor kitty.
Poor kitty.
Arson. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's possible, but also not really the way John operates. Because he's... Okay, I mean, obviously the TV show John is different. The TV show John also has he has his own set of rules and morals and laws he abides by or whatever. He wants an honest world or whatever it is. And the comic show, Comic John is like, I just want the world to burn. but more like burn in your dreams or something. He's so connected to the ruby that I think it's more like dream burning rather than actual burning. Whether that results in actual burning or not, I don't know. But
also, okay, he definitely killed one guy with the amulet in the gas station. But how many guys do you think he killed when he walked out of this hospital asylum thingy? How many did die?
We saw one die on screen, right?
Well, the one who walked in on him when his mother died after giving the amulet to him, that guy definitely died. But I also think we see like more die, but they kind of die like off screen, because he does walk out of the elevator and just look at the elevator. At the back of the elevator, if I remember correctly, you can see the, I guess, remnants of what were once human bodies, and from I think from the way it looks, was like that there were two people who maybe tried to stop him when he went out of the room and went to the elevator. So I would say at least 3 people died, but maybe more.
Okay, yeah. In the comics, we see this one dead guard on the ground. I mean, okay, so in the TV show, definitely more died, or it is implied.
I would say 1 definitely died, and it is implied that at least 3 people died in that hospital.
Yeah, okay. I don't think we see more in the comics dying, but it's like a lot can happen off screen. And TV show John, well, you see him kill as many as necessary to defend himself and get out of there. It's like he doesn't necessarily want to kill them. He's not out to kill them, but he doesn't have a problem getting them killed just to get out of there and not get harmed. Comic John would have just killed as many as necessary to get out. It's like, you're on my way, die. End of story. Though, I mean, he does encounter one of the other inmates of the asylum. That that dude, I don't know whether, I'm not sure whether he's a DC character that we know or not. He hangs himself as an April's joke.
That is not a lovely April's joke. There are better jokes than that.
He's also the one who we see when we get back to Arkham Asylum later, and he's the one who asked Dream to give them, the inmates, nice dreams. Anyway, John obviously does not kill him. He just talks with him a bit and is like, I'm out to destroy the world or whatever. And he's like, you'll come back. And John's like, no, I won't. And then he comes back.
And then, hi, I'm back again, even though I said I wouldn't. But surprise! That is a nice April joke.
John goes through a whole character arc, just in his own little, yeah.
Well, and I would say, how many people would Rosemary have accidentally killed? Because I think she would be very upset if she actually accidentally kills people with the amulet. Because in the TV show, at least, John lets her go and gives her the amulet to protect herself. So that the situation with her husband, I guess, doesn't happen again. Begs the question, how many people did she actually accidentally kill? And how did that impact her mental health? Because it can't be good especially for someone like her. I would imagine that would be pretty traumatic if she actually accidentally killed someone with the amulet.
Let me think about that. I mean, okay, I would like to say none, because it's Rosemary, and Rosemary doesn't want to kill people, and who would attack her, but...
You never know. Society can be very cruel.
I mean, maybe, it's the question, will she wear it, will she not wear it? It's a good question.
And yes, she did see what happened if someone attacked John, and I guess she kind of, if John gives her the amulet and tells her, yes, this will protect you, even from me, I guess, would she even wear it? Because I don't know if I would, because I would be, this is very dangerous, and I do not want to kill people, but on the other hand, you never know what might happen, and it could protect you. So, difficult choice. Would she wear it or not?
Begs the question, how does the amulet work? It's like, what if someone play fights with you?
Well, yes. Intent is important.
Yeah, like, just, if I attack you, and... Or I don't know, it's just accidents can happen, or I don't know. I mean, comic Rosemary would have killed no one because she died.
I guess we will never know.
So that's... on a different note, do you know the ruby is really pretty in the comics? It's a really pretty... It actually looks a lot like your garnet, which is not a ruby. It's a garnet.
Yes, the ruby is very pretty.
the TV show Ruby is also pretty, but I was like, it's not as pretty as the comic Ruby. I prefer the comic Ruby.
I mean, maybe it was difficult to make it in the TV show as pretty as it is in the comics.
No, that's not that hard. We saw the visuals. They could have done anything. I don't know why they decided on that, but...
Who knows?
well.
We would have to ask the producers or whoever is responsible. I don't know how that works actually and who makes what decisions. So I guess we will never know.
The Ruby's also not the only Dreamstone. I mentioned this, I believe.
Yes, you did. 12 others? Or in
Yes,
total?
yes. Dream at one point is like that. Well, I think that's much later in one of the later arcs before... Oh, spoilers. Anyway, back to John. Oh, yeah.
John.
So we got... Well, in the comics, John and Dream have an epic fight in a dream. Because dreams. Dream has an epic fight in a dream while dreaming.
Of course.
And then John traps Dream in the Ruby and blows up the Ruby with Dream and it's just pow. And that releases both Dream and the power stored in the Ruby. So and then Dream comes back being all huge and he holds John in his palm and he's big and powerful and that is that. And then Dream takes him back to Arkham Asylum. And John is naked for almost the entire time we see him in the comics.
Okay, I did not need to know that, but thanks for the information, I guess.
I mean, John is this little dark, grayish, brownish creature with barely hair left, and he does wear a bathrobe coat thingy, but not really. And he's just naked most of the time.
Okay,
it's a thing.
But yeah, the showdown also happened in the TV show. I don't remember if John just walked in on Dream in his palace with the powers of the Ruby. I don't actually remember quite how he got there, but we are in Dream's palace in the dreaming, and they do face off, and then John wants to trap Dream in the Ruby, and he starts absorbing him. And you actually answered a question, because we don't actually see in the TV show, at least, that John actively destroys the Ruby. But I guess that makes sense. And as in his TV show, he also gets free and huge, and you can see this tiny John in his palm. But I would have just assumed that maybe it was like absorbing Dream into the Ruby would be just like too much, and that the Ruby then burst because it couldn't contain all the power it now had. But then again, it is like designed to be a powerful item, so who knows if that would have happened. But that is what I assumed when I saw that. So it's nice of you to inform me that John actively destroyed the Ruby, because it isn't mentioned in the TV show, so we don't know in the TV show, at least I didn't realize that John actively destroyed the Ruby and tried to kill Dream that way. So
I mean, maybe he didn't actively. I don't know. It's just what happened in the comics, and Dream explains what happened, like how blowing up the Ruby did not destroy him but free him. And
I mean, maybe they mentioned that in the TV show and I just forgot. That could also be the case.
You obviously remember more than me, and we both just rewatched it recently. So.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay, it's whatever. We know what happens in the comics, and it might have as well happened in the TV show. Who knows? Watch it for yourself, read it for yourself, and make your own opinion what happened, you know?
Yes.
Okay.
But
let's move on.
Yeah, we were talking about characters. Talk about a few of the dreams. There are many dream characters.
And the first dream character we get introduced to, or nightmare, I should say, the Corinthian. And the first thing I have to say about the Corinthian is creepy eyes. Have you seen his eyes? They're creepy. I don't like his eyes. So I'm glad that he wears sunglasses all the time. And another thing, I was like, yes, this is nice, because at the end of episode 8, when the Corinthian drives on into the, in my opinion, not sunset, together with Jet to, I think it was going to the convention thingy. The music that plays is like the Big Bad Wolf, and yes, I have to agree with that music choice, because yes, the Corinthian is the Big Bad Wolf in the neighborhood. So very good music choice, I have to say.
Okay, if you read Overture, then yeah, Corinthian. Does he appear in Overture? Wait, actually?
I don't know. I haven't read it. I can't tell you.
No. Yeah. We meet him, I think, actually, now that I think about it, we meet him the same way in the comics as in the show, that, like, he's out in the waking world doing stuff, and then Dream tries to apprehend him and then gets captured. Could be wrong. I don't remember. But the Corinthian in the TV show is involved in everything much earlier than the comics, because, like I said, I don't quite remember whether we meet him the same way or not, but he's not really present at all during the first arc. And even in the second arc, the Doll's House, Dream, Rose Walker's arc, he's not... His role is a bit more minor, I say. And he gets a major role when he gets recreated later on, but that we didn't see that in the show, obviously. I love him. He's awesome. He has a point about being... well, what he does, and also he's too sexy to be a nightmare. Like, with and without the sunglasses, this dude is hot.
I agree with the sunglasses, but without the sunglasses, no. Definitely no. Creepy eyes.
No, he's still hot. Still hot.
No, I disagree.
Yeah. If I was such inclined, I would tap that, but nope. Not my thing, but hot. He's pansexual, so I think he would get a lot more done if he wouldn't sleep with everything that walks. But I guess that's just what, yeah.
Yeah. Tell him that. But, I mean, he is a nightmare, you know. I mean, yes, he, I guess, kind of flees from Dream. But you have to also see it from his point of view. Like, is he really that much pressured for time that he can't enjoy just, like, the people he meets and have some fun?
I mean, he is once Dream gets out and looks for the vortex and stuff. And he's like, oh shit, oh no. And then he still sleeps with everyone.
I guess old habits just die hard, you know? Old habits die hard.
You do you, Corinthian.
Yes.
You have the looks for it, so why not?
His choice.
Why not?
Whether he wants to do that or not and waste time. His choice.
Moving on. Ravens. Poor Jessamy. Poor Jessamy. God, Alex, you did not have to shoot that poor bird.
Poor bird deserved better.
I don't remember Jessamy being shot in the comics. Actually, I don't remember her appearing during the first arc at all. In general, the Ravens appeared much later. It's like in the first issues we don't have them. Matthew appears quite late too, and I mean, Dream has many Ravens. Lucian, who presents as Mayor in the comics, is actually his first Raven.
Oh.
But yeah, we get Matthew's a delight. Get Matthew.
Yes, Matthew is amazing. I mean, Matthew is very much there to lighten the mood, which I appreciate, because with all the horror elements you have in the show, I very much appreciate if someone just lightens the mood a little bit. And yeah, he also helps Dream with his character development and just to move on from Jessamy, his previous Raven, because you can't grieve forever, darling. You need to move on. And here,
watch Dream do exactly that. Watch him do that.
I can see him doing exactly that. So I'm glad that Lucian decided to just give him Matthew, and Matthew was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna tag along. Hi, Dream, I'm your new Raven. Deal with it. And he also like helps the reader or viewer just to better understand what's going on in some cases, because just like he is new to all of this, so he understandably has questions, and that helps the viewer or reader also like to understand what's happening, like what is the concept and the world building like we have here. So essentially, I guess Matthew is just there to lighten the mood, the comedic relief character, and also for info dropping for us readers and viewers, but also for assisting Dream in his tasks and to help him develop his character and to, like, I guess, be better in, like, if you see that as better, because, like you said, human, what does he need that for? Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, a complex character who I very much appreciate.
Matthew's awesome. Understandably confused about suddenly becoming a bird, but...
Yes, who wouldn't be confused when you are suddenly a bird and like, yes, the Entleys exist, and here, please follow Dream. Thank you.
Fine. I'm like, what do you mean? Doesn't everyone know about that? No? Okay.
No.
Yeah. He also becomes a really close friend for Dream in the comics. In the comics, he calls himself his friend. Dream actually admits to that, unlike the Hob situation. And I mean, okay, by that point, I think he already accepted that Hob is his friend.
Character development. Yes, I do have friends.
Yeah, Dream, you do have friends. Anyway, yeah, Dream needs all the friends we get. Who else do we have? I mean, Lucian I already mentioned. His first Raven was male in the comic, but I mean, it's a Dream. Gender doesn't matter.
Yes.
Abel and Cain. Actually, Abel and Cain remind me of Sabrina's aunts and their Cain pit, but I don't. Otherwise, it's Abel and Cain. It's one kills the other. That's it. Yeah.
Because we are planning to do an episode in Sabrina, and I have also at least started to prepare a bit for that episode by starting to rewatch the TV series that is on Netflix. And I also when I watched the scene where Aunt Zelda just killed Aunt Hilda and buried her, I was also very much reminded of Abel and Cain. I was like, interesting. Okay, have to note that down.
I would say maybe it's based on that, but Sabrina is based on a different comic universe. Archie Comics, not DC. Or maybe they did, I don't know.
Who knows what they were thinking? It reminded me of Abel and Cain. Because, I mean, in this case also, we know that Zelda is the older sibling of the two, I believe. And the older kills the younger one. And we also learn that it has happened a lot in the past. And poor Hilda, she deserves better.
We'll get into that in the Sabrina episode.
Yes.
Very important Dream.
Yes.
Gilbert. Tell me about Gilbert.
I would say Gilbert is the nice uncle of the neighborhood who is actually a nice uncle and not just some pedophile or something. And
did you think that at first when you saw it?
I mean, no, I did not think that. Because they did a good job with Gilbert, that he is actually a nice person. But
of course he is.
Yes, of course he is. But I also know that in some cases, you also have you have this really nice dude in your neighborhood who is always nice to everyone. And then at the end, it turns out, he is only nice to you because he is a pedophile or something, and that he's actually a bad guy. But with Gilbert, they did a good job that, yes, this is a good guy, and yes, he is actually a good guy. And he also, in this car ride he has with Rose, he talks a lot and actually bores Rose to sleep. And I found that very funny. And, well, I could kind of relate to Rose, but also not really. Because you do talk a lot sometimes, Neitshayd, but you never bore me. You just annoy me sometimes.
Do I? Do I talk too much?
Not always.
Do I talk too much?
Sometimes you can talk a lot. It is debatable if it is too much, but you tend to talk a lot sometimes.
You just have to deal with it, you know. You'll never get rid of me again. I'm living off of you. I'm leeching off of you. So
Yes,
why would I
I know.
leave you?
I know.
Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, they did a good job with Gilbert. And I mean, Rose probably thought that as well when she first saw him. It's like, is this a creep or is this a good guy? And then she was like, oh wait, you're my upstairs neighbor.
Oh, yes.
I think you're a good guy.
I mean, when do they first meet? When Rose gets attacked in an alleyway by two shady people, and Gilbert is just there and should I help you? And Rose is like, nah, not needed.
Gilbert is awesome. I mean, they meet in almost exactly the same way in the comics, so yeah. I mean, Gilbert, alias Fiddler's Green, which reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean. Fiddler's Green is an afterlife, one version of the afterlife, for sailors specifically. I think there are some conditions that you need to fulfill as a sailor to get there, but I mean, obviously that's for every afterlife.
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of there was a song, this one song in Pirates of the Caribbean movie 2, 3, whatever, where it's like Fiddler's Green. But yeah, it's like, It's for sailors, technically, but the person dreaming, he's just a resting place for everyone who wants there. Great casting choice.
Yes.
Really great casting choice. I think the actor is a famous British comedian. Not sure. But essentially every casting choice in this show is great. And
Yes.
he looks exactly like he did in the comics. I was like, wow. They found someone who looks exactly like or maybe the comic part is based on him? Could be.
I don't know.
Then again, the comics are really old, but...
To whoever made the casting choices in this one, thank you. You did good. You did a very good job.
Oh, I'm assuming Neil had a hand in it, and Neil is awesome.
Yes.
Neil Gaiman is very... yeah. Any other dreams you want to talk about?
Not in the moment, no.
Okay. Well, then let's move on to other characters.
Yes, let's do that.
I have a bit about the family, the whole family, like Lyta, pronunciations. Lyta.
I would pronounce it Lyta.
Lyta Lestrange. Ah, right, Lyta
Yes.
Lestrange. Yes.
I'm glad you remember that I told you Lyta Lestrange.
And Hector and their baby, whose name is Daniel.
Did the baby already get the name of the TV show, or do you just know that from the comics? Because I didn't know he was named Daniel.
Well, in the comics, Dream is the one who gave him that name. Because Lyta just couldn't come up with something, and then Dream appeared and was like, his name is Daniel. And then he disappeared. And other stuff happened, but...
I mean, in the TV show, our dear Dream is just like, yeah, we'll come back for that baby, because, yeah, it was conceived in the dreaming, so that's mine. And I just sat there watching that, and I'm like, Dream, that's not how it works.
That is exactly how it works.
I guess.
Yes, that's how it works. So they were set up a bit differently in the comics. Not all that much, but I mean, Gold, I said that already, didn't exist in the comics as such. She not exactly combines. So in the comics there were these two nightmares that actually looked like horrifying nightmares. Brood and Glob. Brood looks like Brood, and Glob looks like a Glob. Are those their names? I'm not sure. Anyway, you have two nightmares that actually look like nightmares, and they have different motives than Gold, and they do stuff a bit differently, and they take over Jet Walker's dreams, and they are responsible for the Lyta. No, actually, Lyta is already pregnant before she goes into the dream. I'll talk about that more later when we go about the storytelling. No, adaptation, whatever. Anyway, we'll debacle with... Anyway, so these two nightmares, they brought back Hector from the dead after their previous victim, I suppose, killed himself. Yeah, they were trying to set something up, and then they chose someone, and that person couldn't handle it and killed themselves, and they were like, okay, let's use a dead person. So they brought back Hector, and Hector was like, where's my wife? So they brought his wife in, who was pregnant at the time. And so Hector basically became a superhero. He became the Sandman and protected children, which really only was Jet Walker. And
leaves me wondering, did Death have any say in this? Because if they brought a person or like Hector back from the dead, wouldn't like Death have something to say about that?
I mean, the Death is more responsible for the journey, like delivering the spirits of the deceased to the sun and lands, and not exactly responsible for what happens after. I mean, Lucifer did free everyone from hell when he quit, and that was a whole disaster.
Yes.
And Death was really busy, but I don't know how the nightmares did that. They just did. Comic logic.
Yeah.
Comic logic. A dream did it, you know?
Dream did it.
Not a wizard. A dream did it.
Yes.
Yeah. The baby, Daniel, like I said, Dream gave him that name. He will play a major role in the later story arcs, which we'll hopefully see in later seasons. Like, please, Netflix, we want multiple seasons of the show.
Please, Netflix, we want more. Please give us more. Please and thank you.
Yeah. Daniel also, well, he's entwined with the Fates. And I think you wanted to talk about the Fates a little bit.
I mean, I think the Fates are like nice characters because they add a bit of mysteriousness to the show, and
Because the show needs more mysteriousness.
yes, it does. Or well, maybe not, but it fits in. It just fits in nicely, and they're there to help, but they also like annoy you because they're very vague in what they say all the time, and like, yes, we are here to help you, but we are not actually here to help you because that would be boring, you know? So overall, they have a nice balance, and I appreciate them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, the Fates, technically called the Three, or the Kindly Ones. They are obviously based in Greek mythology, as so many things are. And they have different aspects, different forms, you could say. There are the Fates, and they are the Furies, and they are the Grey Ladies, and so on. And they will come up quite often in the comics. They're here and there, and sometimes they not really help in their unhelpful way helping thingy. And sometimes they are, well, that is one of their roles, and another role is like the mother, the crow, and the maiden. And the different role that the Furies implies that is like revenge for if you break the rules of the cosmos or whatever. And
so they have a lot of different roles.
Yeah, and we will see we'll see all of those roles, and that's all I'm gonna say on that, because spoilers. What other? Oh.
Yes.
Do you know what I need to talk about? John Constantine.
John Constantine. Because I guess as you said before, in the comics, there was a male version, so I guess it would be kind of weird if the male version would also be called Joanna Constantine. And also that.
Do you know the movie? There's a movie that's called Constantine.
I don't think so.
It's I think it was a horror movie. John Constantine is a known character in the DC universe.
Okay.
Lady Johanna Constantine, the one we see in the Hob Gatling, is actually the same as the comics. She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
But yeah, John is a known character in the DC universe. He got his own films? Multiple? At least one film.
I don't know.
Ages ago. When I was elsewhere, when we didn't know each other yet.
Okay.
He's an occultist, he's a detective, he's cynical but a good guy, he's a typical anti-hero and a chain smoker, and
that is not good for your health.
He appears in different DC comics. Might have gotten his own spin-off, I'm not sure about that, but yeah, he's a known character. And we know a lot about him, but we don't know as much about his female counterpart, because we obviously only meet her in the show in a very short amount of time, but we can assume she's very much the same. We certainly get to see her as an exorcist with commitment issues. And I remember
yes, that we do.
In that episode where we go to Rachel, it was pretty much normal in the TV show. In the comic, I remember there was a lot of weird slimy stuff all over her flat.
Okay.
Fitting for a horrifying setting. I mean, it is a horror comic, and
yeah.
Might have even been human remains or nightmare.
Lovely human remains.
It looked horrifying. I enjoyed that very much. I didn't expect it, but yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we can assume when Rachel dies that death comes to her. So, death.
Yes. Death. We love death.
Amazing casting.
As every other character in this show.
Yes, love her character. I would like to have another chat with her one day. Our last one ended kind of in an unfortunate way. I mean, considering I'm...
You're undead?
Yeah, so I died and did not... Yeah, let's not talk about it.
Okay, yes. Death has a really nice necklace. That's like one of the first things I noticed. I was like, ooh, nice necklace. And
Egypt. Yes, Egypt.
And it's like, okay, Death, she has a very difficult job. It's like, okay, because you are Death. And I like that we get to know that she did struggle with her job in the past, like, because most people are not happy when they die, I would assume. So it's like, okay, what do I do with this? And then she learned from her experiences, and she can use that knowledge from her own experience to help Dream when he is moping around and brooding. And feeding pigeons with bread. And
yeah, the poor pigeons.
Yeah,
poor pigeons.
I like what she to what conclusion she came to. I would say that yes, she wants to be there for them. She wants to help them. That they just wants to let them know that they're not alone and that they just need a friendly face, like when they die. And I can kind of see how it would make it easier to move on, to just know that you're not alone. There's a friendly face there to help you get on that last journey. So yes, I do like death also quite a lot. And she also says yes, death is a gift, and most people are just not ready for it. And question, how is she there for everyone who dies? Because she does say, I think, or maybe it was even Dream who said that she is there for everyone except Hob, I would say, because he is still around. But how does she do that? Is that just another thing of yes, she is the Endless, she just can?
There's an explanation for that in the comics.
Of course there is.
Of course there is. Death is omnipresent. She's omnipresent. So she is everywhere at any given moment and can travel instantly to wherever she wants to go.
Is she everywhere and nowhere all at once?
I mean, I suppose, yes. We still need to watch that movie.
Yes. I don't know if it... I have to tell you, I don't know if it's the exact movie that is currently in the cinema, but I think I did see that this is something, but maybe it was a different one, just named different. We should look that up if you want us to watch it.
Yeah, so she's omnipresent because, I mean, of course she is. And she's there for everyone. She actually also, don't know when that got mentioned, she's also there present at birth.
Oh.
No one, but she's the only one who remembers that.
Huh.
But yeah, she's there when you're born and kind of the moment when you come alive, so to say.
So she's there at the end and at the beginning.
Yes, like a circle.
Alpha and Omega.
And I think the explanation that she's omnipresent might be during her chat with Hob. No, wait, that was not with Hob. That was when she talked to Element Girl. Happens right before Season of Mist.
Okay, I do not know who Element Girl is, but I guess we will meet her or maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, we get the Season 1 and the extra episode. And Season 1 is like the first two major arcs. Preludes and Nocturnes, and then we get Doll's House. And then between Doll's House and the Season of Mist, there are 4 short stories, 2 of which the extra episode covers, and one of which is, Element Girl, which, no, that's not spoiler. So let's talk about Hob, because...
Yes.
Hob Gatling. Hob, yeah. Hob is a very precious person.
Yes, he is.
I want to talk about his long life a bit more later, when we go into the storytelling, but... For now, well, he's sort of immortal, right?
Yes.
Unlike Roderick, Burgess, the comic version anyway, he didn't try desperately to achieve immortality. Instead, he sort of accidentally attained it by amusing a pair of endless siblings.
Yes, he kind of did.
And he lives a long life and goes through a lot of shit. And through it all, there is this mysterious stranger whose name he doesn't even know, that he sort of kind of befriends. But that stranger has a thing for drama and is also emotionally stunted. And if you tell him you're friends, he'll be forced to make a dramatic exit and stand you up during your next 100-yearly meeting. Although the latter wasn't intentional on Dream's part, of course, but drama.
Yeah, him working out on Hob, yes. Dream was and is a drama queen. Hob is really very important for Dream's character development, I would say. But one question I have for Hob is how can he stay so goddamn positive all the time? It's how?
That's good question. Humans are weird.
I mean, he gets rich and then he becomes a beggar. And he still just wants to enjoy life and get more experience and live longer and stuff. And still has a general positive outlook in life. And I would say, when he is rich and he has a family, he has a wife, he has a son, he's very happy. And I can see how he just wants to continue with that, because who doesn't want to continue when they are happy, you know? But he also still wants to continue when his life is, not really that great, because he's even barely allowed in the tavern they meet in. And if Dream wasn't there and would have been like, yeah, he's with me, he would have been kicked out and lives life on the street. And I would say he has a lot of hardships while he lives. And I think it is kind of admirable that he still manages to have this positive outlook and still wants to live. Maybe that's also just because he wants to meet Dream again. Who knows? But they both enjoy their meetings, and just it's strange to me, but also kind of understandable at the same time, because humans are also like, yes, we want to know more and more knowledge, more experiences, and just general curiosity as well. But many people would struggle with like staying positive to all the stuff Hob has to live through, I guess. So good for Hob, and also good for Dream, I suppose, because even if Dream doesn't acknowledge it at first, he also enjoys the meetings. And there's once again, that is what a good casting choice, because from from his intonation, we can figure out that Dream does enjoy his meetings with Hob, and it's like, at the beginning it's just like, yeah, I'm curious if you like still want to live like and enjoy life when you just don't die at the time where a normal human being would die. And at the beginning it's just this plain curiosity. This is weird, I want to know more. But just from the way, I see you, I see you in 100 years again, from how he says that line, I can see you are just not there for the experience, I would say, anymore, just not because you're curious, but you actually do enjoy his company and look forward to just see him again, because he is your friend, even if it takes you time to acknowledge that fact, and it takes you being captured and your items stolen and all that stuff to, I guess, acknowledge it, that you are indeed friends. And also, Hob never loses hope that Dream will show up again. That's kind of nice. So I was like, yes, he dreams that Dream will show up again. And he does.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically Hob in a nutshell. Well, that's not a nutshell. That was a lot of words.
Yes, that was a lot.
You know, I find it kind of funny. Hob doesn't like Shakespeare. You know why? Because Dream dumped him during one of the 100 yearly meetings just to go and talk to that playwright again. There's some quite delicious fanfiction out there for those who like fanfiction. Do you think if Dream were no more, Hob would still keep going? Like if Dream, I suppose, dies or whatever. Like if Dream just is gone for whatever reason, what would Hob do you think?
I mean, I guess he would still stick around, but first, it is understandable on Dream's part that poor Hob, that he just gets dumped on their one meeting. But Dream hears this playwright talking about that he wants to inspire other people's dreams. And Dream is all about dreaming and dreams. So, of course, he did Hob, but poor Hob. But if Dream were gone, I would say Hob would still stick around, at least for a little bit. But I would also say that he would eventually be like, okay, I'm done now, because he still is human, and human do need they need a constant in their life usually, and just like this
a constant.
A constant in their life, and Dream is that constant. He's like, yes, they meet every 100 years, and if he were to lose like this friend who sticks with him just for all of time, like, or at least for the time he does live, I can see that would be probably quite hard, because then he loses the one person he can literally share everything with. So I would say he sticks around for a while, but not like another 600 centuries or so.
Minor spoiler for the comics. He meets death later in one of the last issues. I think it wasn't. Was it it was one of the epilogues to the main series. It's at a Renaissance fair of all things. Help at a Renaissance festival. You can imagine how that would go down. And
yes.
they talk about his friend, Death's brother, about Dream, and they talk about what comes after death, after dying, and it's a really nice conversation. I won't go into too much detail if you just read the comics if you're interested, or wait for hopefully later seasons.
Yes.
And yeah, and then so they have this nice conversation, and then Hob goes back to his girlfriend and enjoys his life, and it's really nice. And who knows what happens after that?
Who knows?
It's up to Hob after all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else on Hob?
No, I guess not anything more on Hob. But now that we are back to death again, we already talked about Dream and about death. Do you have anything more about the other Endless?
Yes, the Endless. So we don't actually see much of the other Endless Dream siblings. I mean, yeah, we have an episode for Death and Desire appears, and there's 7 of them. You already listed them all before.
Yes.
And we will meet them all probably in Season of Mist. Like, literally at the beginning, the prologue to Season of Mist is just it's a family meeting.
Yeah.
I think a discussion about them would contain too many spoilers on my part, so
Yeah,
let's not
probably.
do that. It's just, yeah, we talked about Death. Death is great. Desire is, well, Desire, and the actor's awesome, but yeah.
Yes.
Despair is Despair. It's in the names. Destiny is a bit.
Okay. But yes, we kind of know that.
Yeah, in the very responsible older brothers appears. Not because it's Destiny. I mean, yes, because it's Destiny. Never mind. Just my opinion is like, okay, this responsible older brother.
Okay.
Delirium is a delight, pun intended, for those who know. Destruction is not here and not there either, and that's it.
Yeah, okay. That's it. Because I'm also curious, like with all these siblings, because Dream and Desire, they have like a discussion in episode 10, and it led me to believe, like, okay, is there like going to be some kind of war with like Dream, Death, and Destiny on one side, and Desire, Despair, and Delirium on the other side? And will Destruction ever come back and be like, tip the scales in one direction, because we have 3 against 3, and then the 7th comes in and is like, yes, I'm deciding that. Do we get a confrontation, a war between that? Is there something like that?
I mean, there's a reason Destruction is absent.
I mean, I don't know the reason.
They will explore that. There's a whole arc about that where Delirium is like, I wanna find brother, and Dream is like, yeah. Anyway, there's a reason why this, and it actually the Destruction's reason for absent ties in with Dream's character arc, and yeah, we'll hopefully see that soon.
Good to know. Good to know.
The answer to your question, will there be a war? There's a very simple answer to that, and it's not even a spoiler. Family drama.
Of course, family drama.
The more in-depth answer would be full of massive spoilers. So actually, you know, let me check the time for a moment. We are at 1.5 hours. So
Yes.
do we want to keep going, or do we wanna take a break here?
I mean, I guess we are like at maybe half point.
Yeah, we are at, in my notes, this is half point, roughly.
Yes. Let's take a break. It would be good for our Toffee darling, because she wants our next meal. She did annoy me quite a bit with wanting her next meal.
Well, then in that case, you want to do the outro?
Do I want to do the outro? Okay. Thank you for watching or listening to us, whichever device you are using to enjoy this podcast, and we do hope you enjoyed it. You can find us on Twitter at Tea and Toffees, and we are also on Spotify, in case you are watching this on YouTube.
Yeah, if you're listening on this on Spotify, we're also on YouTube at Tea and Toffees.
Yes. So thank you for listening. We hope you did enjoy the episode. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. It would make us happy.
Yeah, you know the drill. I think every YouTuber says this.
Yes.
And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.